A new documentary looks at how people in our area are responding to climate change. Dave Kendall with Prairie Hollow Productions is telling the story. He is here with Kathleen Bascom, the Episcopal Bishop for Kansas. Welcome to both of you. And Dave, what is the main message you hope people take away from this documentary, which, by the way, has its premiere on Sunday, February 25th at Grace Cathedral? What is the main thing you want them to take away from viewing this?
It's a daunting subject, and sometimes when people find out about what's going on, it's kind of depressing, and they feel like a sense of despair. There's nothing I can do. And so we want to give people a sense, no, that's not entirely true, and there are some hopeful things, and people are doing things that are positive, and that's where people like the bishop come in.
Perfect.
Where you find out what's being done to address it.
And real quick, if they can't make it Sunday, where will they be able to see it?
There are a number of showings coming up,
Okay.
screenings coming up, and we've got them all listed on our website, which is prairiehollow.net.
We will get that link on WIBW.com as well. Thank you to both of you for coming in and filling us in. Great project.
From KCUR, this is Up to Date with Steve Kraske.
Well, Dave, listeners might know you as a longtime host of the Sunflower Journey series on KTWU, that's Topeka's PBS station. Documentary-style filmmaking is your thing. What interested you about making a film about climate change here in Kansas?
Well, what interested me was my own kind of personal interest and concern about what's happening with the climate globally. And the question is, what can any of us do about it? And so since I make documentaries, I could make a documentary. So I just decided to try to localize it. Started working on it a couple of years ago, doing research and finding out who was addressing the subject here in this part of the country, and just move forward. It just seemed to be a topic that needed more attention on it.
Today on KPR Presents Hot Times in the Heartland. That's the title of a new documentary by Dave Kendall, Rex Buchanan, and Laura Mead. What was the story that you set out to tell in Hot Times in the Heartland?
There wasn't a particular story we set out to tell. We were kind of curious to find out what the story was. You know, this is a global phenomenon, and we just wanted to try to localize it.
It does feel like there's no shortage of information about climate change on, say, national perspective, internationally as well. So where I think, Dave, where you really filled the niche here was the local focus. What does it mean for folks in this very specific part of the world that sometimes I think get overlooked when people pay attention to issues like sea level change or ocean acidification, those kinds of things. So I think that's really the contribution you made in this process.
What we're finding is so many people kind of their eyes glaze over when you start talking about climate. There's just been so much talk and so much worry and often a feeling of helplessness that I've heard people describe around this topic because it is so vast. And so both the idea of looking locally felt really relevant to see immediately in our environment what's going on, but in addition, that idea that there were many people doing things and that there is a lot being done really ended up making this a much more hopeful message, which is what we were, intending. It seemed like that was a possibility. We went out to see if that was true, and it is true. There's really a lot of reason for hope.